Hey everyone, this is Ben back with you in the model shop. Didn't get completely over my cold. I ended up calling in sick, but I got some time to work on the ship as a result. So, in this episode, we get the bulk of the ship finally assembled. The main focus is on the forward superstructure. So I'm going to cover putting together the photo etch, the railings, and the wood deck. I don't do so much step by step like here's how we do this, here's how I do that, every little piece. Just mostly assemble it and then show you the main sub-assemblies put together and then the little problems I ran into. All the little segments are just noteworthy things if you're doing this build or you're thinking about it, of things that I ran into that gave me a little trouble or were a little unique. The whole thing came together really nice. I think it looks good. I think there's a really good amount of detail for this scale, and I think it does a good job of representing the ship. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope everyone's doing all right, and let's get into the build so you can see how we put this whole thing together. So we need to get this whole thing put together, and in prepping for that, I've gone ahead and pulled a bunch of parts out that need to be painted gray first, so we could get the wooden deck installed. This is our forward superstructure part that I've had out a bunch of times. Some noteworthy points: there was a little seam right here in the front that obviously I filled with red putty. And then this top area in the front you're going to have to sand and smooth off. And the Tirpitz, there's a piece that goes on top here, but in the Bismarck this was just a big steel plate. So you got to clean that up. The only other thing, let me stop this so you can... Alright, here we go. The only other thing is they want you to put the two radar domes on first and then slide this next section down. And I actually went ahead and pulled those parts off, but here's the skinny. If you put this together like so, the radar dome that goes in this slot is actually way too big. Well, it's not too big, obviously it fits, but it reaches over on top of this piece. So if you are building this and you glue this on first, both of them like so, you're going to have problems getting this installed. So don't do that. I'm going to wait until we're at that point. Alright, so anyway, time to prep, paint, and get some wooden decks together. That was the most noteworthy thing, so I thought I'd share that. Well, things and stuff. So this is the forward section of the superstructure stacked together here, and it's just all sitting. So anyway, the point of this little segment is this is where the wood detail set kind of starts to fall apart on me in terms of matching up. So on this first layer it did okay, but then right up here, this is where we ran into things not being the same at all. So as you can see, there's a gap in the middle there. Sorry, I'm still getting over my cold. I had to do quite a bit of trimming for these stairs so it would fit. And then, yeah, it ends up short here, and then, yeah, you get the point. So it's okay. It's better than nothing. It'll be fine. I could throw a little bit of tan paint down in there and on this edge, and the average person wouldn't even be able to tell. Moving on up, so this wasn't too bad. I just cut all the little pieces up. You can see the little gaps in there where it didn't match up, but I just threw them down and it's fine. I mean, you see it like from here and this way, and it looks good, so that wasn't too big of a deal. This very top part this was kind of a mess. You can see a little loose piece right in there. I gotta clean that out of there. This whole little wood piece in this whole section is not a completely different shape, but way off. I had to do a substantial amount of trimming just to get it to drop in here. The reason that whole section is missing right here is that I guess in the trumper kit, this area came further aft, and as you can see, yeah. So anyway, it's fine though. It's together, and I think that, you know, once again, like I said, you're going to kind of glance at it from here, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on top of all of this, so it'll work out. So time to start putting all of this together. There's some photo etch detail down here we got to arrange, and once that's situated, let's see, I'll probably put the railing on here also on this section. Then, like I said, we'll glue this on top so that I could then go ahead and put the little radar domes here, and I'll probably put the railing on this piece also, because it just makes it easier to drop the whole thing together. We do have to work on the mast. There's a photo etch mast that goes somewhere in here. I haven't sorted that out yet, because like I said, I was just in the middle of getting all of this roughed up. So yeah, press along. I thought that was worth pointing out. Like I said, it doesn't all quite fit exactly like it should, but it's turning out okay. Alright, here's the lower section of the forward superstructure. So I put the rails on where they needed to go, and then we have this fun little photo etch arrangement. Sticks out, pretty distinctive feature off of the bridge. And then I gotta touch up my paint there because I still had trouble getting this seam kind of filled in so that it looked neutral. But anyway, I'm gonna paint this gray, and then we can slap on the next layer after I put the railing on it, and then we'll install the radar, and then those two bases will be ready to go up, and then we can add the photo etch mast. So I thought I'd show that real quickly before we press on. It's a nice little feature, looks good. So here we go. Alright, just a quick little show and tell. This is the Ford photo etch brass mast. It's composed of 4 pieces, the main mast, and then there's this clever little piece right here that you fold that holds the cross member, and then it slides down on the main mast. It's keyed, and then you have the little antenna that you glue in place. That's really nice. Just to show you, some of you guys and gals, just use a piece of silly putty and stick it down to hold it in place. It stops it from rocking and rolling, and allows you to put all your little pieces together. It is super small as well. That's a dime right next to it, so you get an idea. But the last piece I have to put on here is a ladder. It actually goes on the back side of this, and then we'll secure it to the superstructure assembly as we progress. But just thought I'd show you that real quick. Alright, pressing on. Alright, just an update on our little collection of parts that we've got going on here. This is the next section of the superstructure. I've got all the little railing on, our little machine guns, and the radar array. So that went nice. Then this piece goes on top, and then this shelf will end up sliding into that slot right there. On my reference photos, there was a little bit of railing. As you can see, there's this raised edge. So what I opted to do to figure out something that would work and still provide railing was I cut off the ladders and ran that around, and I feel like that provided a nice little, you know, you have your whole railing there with the little hard area and then the rail on top. There's 2 sets of guns that go in these holes here, so I'm going to get this glued up and assembled on here, and then mounted right there, and then this whole thing gets mounted on the next part of superstructure at the base, and then we've got our little radar domes. I wanted to do something to add a little color to these, so I did the RAFC gray on the bottom, and then I went with the Grau violet on top. Excuse me, I'm sure that's wrong, but it'll add a little bit of a color, and it might have been similar to the gray, darker gray that may have been on top of the turrets originally. But we'll see how that works. If it's not aesthetically pleasing, we'll go with a different color. But yeah, anyway, this piece is looking pretty lively, and some of this is going to get covered up when we put it all together, so I thought I'd share that section with you right now. Alright, pressing on. Let's get this together. Alright, here is the forward superstructure basically wrapped up, unless I do a wash or something on it. We've got all of our little railings in, all the little antennas, the photo etch, pretty much all the standard stuff. I think it looks sharp. There's a lot going on. Detail turned out okay. Not everything's perfect. Not everything's perfectly straight. I went with like gray violet on the antennas here and up here, so that there was some sort of color difference, just to try and pop things out a little bit. And then on a lot of these smaller antennas, I went with a light ghost gray. So that's it. Wood decks on. Like I said, I wish that the photo etch included like little machine guns. I'm sure they're available out there somewhere. I just didn't get it. So, alright, that's it. It looks nice. Let's go ahead and throw this up on the ship, and that will conclude the bulk of the main assembly. Then we got to do all of the little, couple of the cranes, some lifeboats, some small fittings, and sort out some of the details on the guns, and then we'll be done. So let's go ahead and throw this up on the ship. Alright, there it is, freshly glued on. This is the bulk of the battleship Bismarck in 1/700 scale. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Same detail as before, we just got, you know, everything kind of together here. I think it looks sharp. I think it's a good representation of what the ship looked like. It's got the shape down. It's nice. So one of the things that's going on right now is a lot of this has got some lighter accents coming through color-wise that need to be muted a little bit, and so I'll do that by hitting the whole thing with a flat lacquer, and that will even out a lot of the tone and dial everything back a little bit, and it'll make some of the darkers darker and the lighters not lighter, but you know, just put some balance there. But anyway, I think this looks good. So now we have to build, there's like ship's cranes that go in, all the little guns have to go in place. We got to sort out the main guns still. Remember I mentioned that there needs to be blast bags, and I have to get milliput for that because we're going to have to sculpt those in this area right in here. Let's throw the other one up on the bottom down here. I think this yellow was a great idea. I think it really accents the ship really well. I think it's going to make things, it makes things really pop. So anyway, that's it for right now. I hope everyone's doing well, and yeah, have a good week. We'll get back to you when we get the rest of this done. Hopefully we can wrap this up pretty soon. Take care.